There's quite a bit of new information on the Cybertruck that we now know, and it's due to the release of some information regarding the VIN number on the Cybertruck and that structure. The decoder has been released, but as you know at this point, the earnings call was just yesterday, and during that call, Elon Musk did have to temper some expectations on the Cybertruck. And although some people are calling doom and gloom, it's really more of a reality check. So we're going to talk about a little bit of that, what the outlook of the Cybertruck looks like, and what those implications are for Tesla. But also, we just saw a Cybertruck that appears to have been shot up all over the side of this truck. Elon Musk did actually acknowledge this and gave us a little bit of insight on what exactly is happening as we look to the quote unquote bulletproof Cybertruck. And then finally, we'll wrap up with my predictions on the Cybertruck as we now have an official date of the launch day, which is November 30th. We have a bunch of information at this point that we can start to point to what is the Cybertruck going to look like, pricing, range, all those things. I'm going to give you my prediction on what the Cybertruck is going to be at launch. But before we dive into all of that, I do want to thank today's video sponsor, Drive Protected Shop. As you know, I've wrapped all of my vehicles in PPF and I did it all myself. And it's because Drive Protected Shop makes pre-cut DIY kits. And the reason you might want to consider doing it yourself is it is a huge savings, thousands of dollars less than it costs to have a professional do it. And it has saved my paint several times at this point. And although I have my own videos of doing this, Drive Protected Shop has their own learning academy where they will show you every single panel on your vehicle how to do it. So there's a lot of really good resources there to help you do this on your own. And the best part is, officially now, Drive Protected Shop is giving you a guarantee. So if you give it a try and you mess up a panel, you can just send them a picture, send them a video, and they're going to send you a replacement panel, and they're going to give you guidance on how to not make that same mistake again. Mess it up again, guess what? They'll send you yet another one. There's also another really cool thing going on at Drive Protected Shop. If you spend $300 or more, they're actually giving away a wall connector. There has never been a better time to try it yourself and to have the peace of mind that Drive Protected Shop has your back. So thanks again to Drive Protected Shop for sponsoring this video. So during the earnings call this week, Elon Musk did acknowledge the Cybertruck, and as a matter of fact, he spent quite a bit of time talking about it and really seemed to temper expectations to some degree. He did mention that Tesla has dug their own grave with the Cybertruck as they are basically designing a ground up, a brand new vehicle unlike anything else on the road ever before. So really the batteries are new, the way that the truck is built is new, the exoskeleton, if that is what we're going to call it, is new. Everything about this truck is new. Even the batteries, although we've had 4680 for about a year now, those batteries are going to be completely new for the Cybertruck. It's a brand new battery pack, and really it's potentially the motors is all that's going to stay the same. There's so much new about this Cybertruck, and Elon Musk is just reminding people that, listen, this is not going to be an easy battle, and he anticipates it'll be 2025 before this truck is even profitable. But several times during the call, Elon Musk did make the comment that the truck needs to be affordable for people. So that is music to my ears, and as it should be yours, because that means Tesla is planning to launch this with an affordable price tag rather than taking advantage of the high demand early on with a very large price. So we'll talk about that more on the predictions, but basically here's what we're looking at. They anticipate ramping up to 250,000 annual units of the Cybertruck, and they believe that they're going to hit that target by 2025, which is pretty incredible. They also talked about 125,000 units just in 2024, which is pretty incredible. So this will have an amazingly fast ramp, but there is some period of time that until they get to volume production, the Cybertruck's actually going to be a drain on the P&L for Tesla. So there is some pain up ahead in the short term, but long term, this is going to be a huge plus for Tesla without a doubt. And next, I'm somewhat beside myself because I saw this video and subsequent pictures of a Cybertruck that appears to have been shot like a lot. And we actually found out that not only did it get shot, but Elon Musk has acknowledged they took a Tommy gun to the side of the Cybertruck, and apparently they emptied an entire drum of that Tommy gun on the driver's door. And I was actually curious myself. So for those of you who want way more information than you need, Here's the details on that. Basically, I was able to count 74 shots, and when the Tommy gun was released, and for most of the time, it was available with a 50 round drum and a 100 round drum. A 75 round drum didn't come till much later on, so assuming they had a 75 round drum, we're missing one bullet, so it'll be interesting to see where that bullet ended up going, or are we missing 26 bullets? Now, there's actually some really good information here if you read between the lines. Tesla said that the Cybertruck was bulletproof up to a 9mm. This is a 9mm. A Tommy gun, however, shoots a 45 caliber, which is a completely different bullet, like this. So they actually shot the Cybertruck with a 45 right here versus this 9mm that they originally announced. Not only did it get shot once or twice, it was shot 74 times with a 45. This is fantastic news because although we don't know the officially launched thickness of stainless steel, thanks to Magnets USA, I actually have a pretty good example of what that stainless steel is going to look like. This is 3mm of stainless steel. So they shot this with a 45. That stainless steel hopefully is going to be something close to the thickness of what we're seeing right here. And based on the performance of the Cybertruck door, I would say it's a pretty good thickness. I don't know if it'll be this full 3mm still, but it is definitely a thick exoskeleton, and that is going to provide some pretty awesome durability benefits. Now onto some exciting details that were just released. The VIN Decoder was just updated to include the Cybertruck, and this is really awesome because the type of information that you can extract from the VIN is going to show you some of the things that we will and will not see at launch. So for starters, we can see right here, this is either going to be a dual or a tri-motor vehicle. So there's no single motor listed and there's no quad motor listed. And although Elon Musk in 2021 talked about a quad motor, this was like right after Rivian started talking about their ability to do 360s because of the quad motor system. And Elon Musk jumped on that craze and said, well, we're going to have quad motor too. But in reality, the Cybertruck had gotten out of hand with tech and features, and reining all that back in, a quad motor makes perfect sense to axe from this. The tri-motor that Tesla has developed is substantial, and it is an amazing piece of engineering because you can gain some efficiency benefits and still have that power in reserve. So a tri-motor makes perfect sense for the Cybertruck, and the quad motor just never really mattered, honestly. So we're looking at a tri-motor and we're looking at a dual motor. Now I want to show you something because if you recall this picture right here, we can see the VIN number on this particular unit. And if we look at that 6th digit, we can see the gross vehicle weight rating. Why is this important? Well, the gross vehicle weighting comes in at a letter H, which means 9,001 to 10,000 pounds. Gross vehicle weight means the curb weight plus all of the people and equipment you load into the truck, the total weight of the truck that it's rated for. This truck is going to be somewhere between 9,001 and 10,000 pounds. At the launch event, we were told each Cybertruck would have a 3,500 pound payload capacity. And to put this into perspective for you, 3,500 pounds is massive. Usually a half ton, so like a Ram 1500, an F-150, it's going to have about 1,500 pounds of payload capacity. Once you step up to a 3/4 ton or an F-250, a Ram 2500, you're going to get around that 3,000 pounds. If you get a gas motor, you can definitely get more, but diesels will usually have under 3,500 pounds, although the most recent models, there are some examples where they've exceeded that 3,500. The only 3/4 ton truck I have ever seen that had 3,500 pounds or more payload capacity and a diesel motor was a GMC Sierra 2500 HD. That was the only truck I've ever seen that would be able to hold 3,500 pounds or more in the bed of the truck. So for 3,500 pounds, you're talking limited versions of a 2500 series, or in some cases up to a full 1-ton truck or a 3,500 series truck. These weights are huge. Having 3,500 pounds capacity is a very big number and a strong number. But why does this matter, and what does this really tell us? Well, if Tesla does indeed give us that 3,500 pounds, we can guess approximately what we think the weight of the Cybertruck is going to be. In order to maintain a 3,500 in payload capacity, they can have this truck weigh up to 6,500 pounds. So what does that mean in relation to the competition? Well, the Rivian R1T is 7,148 pounds curb weight, and the F-150 Lightning is 6,015 pounds. Both of those have a much lower payload capacity than 3,500, and this would be a game changer. This would be huge advantage to the Cybertruck, as well as some of the other things I'm going to talk about in my predictions. And speaking of those predictions, here are my guesses on what we're going to see based on the information we know today, including some leaks and including some information that Tesla has released. At launch, we should be seeing a dual motor and a performance, or a tri-motor. And both of these are actually going to be in the same battery pack. There will not be a 500-mile Cybertruck, at least for a couple of years. I'm guessing that the dual motor will be between $55,000 and $60,000, or about $5,000 to $10,000 more than when it was announced. It will come with 375 miles of range to have a tow capacity of, I'm guessing, 10,000 pounds. The performance or tri-motor will come in at $65,000 to $70,000, have 360 miles of range, and have a towing capacity of about 12,000 pounds. The single motor is not anywhere in sight, and it very well could be canceled altogether. The 500-mile Cybertruck is not coming anytime soon. It'll be 2025 or later before that comes around, and this is because the 4680 battery cells are not to the density that they need to be able to make it in an efficient way. They're limited on capacity of 4680 anyways, and those batteries are not at an efficiency level where a battery pack size would be appropriate to make this 500-mile Cybertruck. Of course, they could make a Cybertruck at 500 miles, but they would then make less trucks and sell less trucks in the short term. So that is very likely not coming until 2025 or later. The most recent information that we have on the battery pack is this. It is believed that the battery pack will be 124 kilowatt hours. And if we look at the projected range numbers that I am suggesting it will be, I'm going to look at the Model X and the EPA numbers there. Now, there's some things I do not understand on how the EPA gets efficiency and makes that into a range number, because it doesn't line up perfectly. So I'm going to take those same assumptions and apply it to the Cybertruck to figure out what the watt hour per mile efficiency would be in the Cybertruck in order to be able to achieve these range numbers that I'm suggesting. So if you look at the Model X, it actually is rated at 330 watt hour per mile. And if you were doing 330 watt hour per mile on a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack, you would not go 348 miles. So how do they get there? Well, if you do some backward math, you get 287 watt hour per mile is what the efficiency would need to be in the Model X to get a rated 348 miles of range. So there's some sort of a discount factor here. And I'm going to apply that same discount factor over to the Cybertruck, just to make sure that we can see this in a way that makes sense. On the Cybertruck, we would need to see 380 watt hour per mile with a 124 kilowatt hour battery pack in order to see 375 miles of range. So that's about 50 watt hour per mile higher rated than the efficiency in the Model X. These numbers are reasonable. I think that these numbers are realistic. So these are quite a bit higher consumption than the Model X, and aerodynamics are not going to be quite as good as the Model X. They are going to be amazing for a truck, but the Model X will still be more efficient, and we are looking at a heavy vehicle with big tires with less aerodynamics than a Model X. But the point is, these are realistic range numbers. This is how I got to them. Starting in 2024, we anticipate to see 125,000 Cybertrucks made and delivered. And in 2025, we would then see 250,000 vehicles, which is mass production, which is the profitability range for Tesla. So once they hit that 250,000 mark, we'll start to see a profitable Cybertruck from Tesla. So those are the updates for today. I hope that this was insightful. I hope you enjoyed this, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.